That's 819 on the link. It's the breeze 93.9. Let's go to our KUAM link Zoom room where we have Rob standing by. Just to give you guys a little background here, Rob is currently serving his sentence in quarantine. But Robin will bring you on, and we're starting on a light note. But really, your story, I just can't believe it. I can't. It's mind-boggling. Let's just start from the beginning. Obviously, you were an inbound. You're a returning resident to Guam, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes,
so
correct.
just tell us where you came from. If you
When
had your
did you come in?
yeah, and when did you come in? Just bring us, give us the history up to where we're at today.
So I'm actually coming in from New Mexico, which is a low risk area. I had two tests conducted for COVID-19 before I arrived on Guam. Both test results came back negative. Unfortunately, I happened to be one of the passengers that so happened to be on the Honolulu flight 201 that had the positive COVID patient, where they quarantined the entire flight. My reason for returning to the island was the fact that I'm on emergency orders for the death of my little brother, who was Jose Sanchez, the 22-year-old spearfishman who died recently. Once I got there or arrived to the island, they let us know that there was a positive patient on the flight. However, we had the hardship paperwork. We were verbally told, and it states on their paperwork that we were to be tested 24 to 48 hours within being administered into the quarantine facility. And it's now day 8 of me being in here. And they have denied us the testing for the 24 to 48 hours. I then contacted public health and I asked them, what about the 7-day option that is clearly laid out in their protocol that they have shown everybody, and they have denied me that as well. They are under the assumption that we are, has labeled us as a high risk personnel. However, they have denied us testing. They don't want to test us until day 12 to determine whether we are even COVID positive or not. So we are being held in here under the assumption of positivity.
You said we. Who else are you with?
I am here with my spouse as well.
And you've been feeling okay? No signs or symptoms or anything?
No signs, no symptoms. They've been taking our temperature, which is the most interaction we get with the nurse here, every day, which we've been consistent 96 to 97 degrees every day.
And who have you called anybody? You've called public health and
I've
what was their
contacted
reason?
public health, I've contacted the social workers. I get all the same, the same info. You guys were in close proximity, which, they're labeling as 3 rows forward, 3 rows back into the side of the positive patient. And it's the same story every time I call them. You were in close proximity, you have to stay.
And that's
Which,
it.
yeah,
Did they give that to you in writing?
No. There's nothing in writing. Everything's done via a phone call that I received to my room.
Rob, when is your little brother's funeral?
His funeral is this Saturday on the 22nd. And they called me yesterday, asking me if I wouldn't say asking me. They gave me 2 options for my family. It's either A, they push the funeral back, or B, they set up a Zoom call so that I can attend the funeral, because we're not leaving anywhere is what they told me.
They told you to push the funeral back?
Or get on a freaking Zoom?
Yeah, that's basically what they told me yesterday on the phone.
This is public health.
The injustice that's happening here it's ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. They have protocols that they set for with all the guidelines that we have followed to the T before we arrived here, and they themselves aren't even following their protocols.
Rob, let me play devil's advocate here. What would you say to those people who hear this and say, hey, he was within close proximity of that positive passenger, that's why he's in the quarantine?
So, if people want to say that we are in close proximity, then allow me to test. Why are we going to go to the full extent for the 14-day quarantine without testing me to, make sure that I am an actual positive carrier? Because if I'm a positive carrier, then yes, the 14-day quarantine and isolation away from my family would make sense. But putting me in a 14-day quarantine under the assumption now of being a positive carrier is ridiculous. They have denied me the testing because they are assuming that I am a high-risk potential carrier now because we were within close proximity to a positive COVID patient.
Rob, I can't even imagine. I mean, I just can't. You coming all the way from New Mexico to bury your little brother, and just to have to deal with all this. Can you just tell us what's going through your mind?
I mean, so there's so much going through my mind. I mean, a lot of it is aggravation and the sheer fact and thought that I will never get to lay my brother to rest personally, only through a Zoom call is what they're saying that I'm, that they want me to do, which is crazy. But, a lot of it is aggravation because I'm not getting any help in here. Nobody calls us to keep us updated on what's the way forward. And when you try to contact public health, you have to call, 7, 8, 9 times just to get somebody who gives you the same answer because nobody wants to reach in here into the quarantine facility and help out those that are in here.
Which quarantine?
They basically locked us in the room and threw away the key.
Which quarantine facility are you in?
I'm in the Ocean View Hotel, Bayview, something like that.
Right, yeah.
What's your family saying? You spoke to your family that are here?
I've spoken to my mom, and she's hurt even more now because she just lost my little brother, and then on top of that, she has to worry about me being in here and not being able to attend the funeral and be by her side to bury my little brother. It's breaking her down even more. And we're not getting any compassion from public health at all. We filled out the hardship paperwork, which is in their guidelines. And basically, we've given them everything all the way up to including my brother's death certificate because they requested all that information, only for it to be thrown in a drawer somewhere and left.
Is your wife also from Guam?
Yes, she's also from Guam.
Wow.
Well, I just texted the director. Have you spoke to the director? Your family's just kind of going off in the comments here, Rob. They're saying, the governor said she can't do anything because it's not her department. We've got another one, Teresa. Teresa writes, test them and release them. Rosemary, get Janella on the phone now to explain this. People are saying it's insensitive. Jay Augustine writes, funerals in 2 days, public health. My cousin did the due diligence. He was cleared negative COVID in New Mexico, brought the official testing documents. And we get that, right? And then so there was exposure on the plane. And all you're saying is, hey, if you think and you want to assume I'm a positive case, then put your money where your mouth is and give me the test.
Exactly. I mean, we've been requesting the test, from the day we got in here because we were told 24 to 48 hours. And we were left in the dark for 3 days, 4 days. Then they call us back and say, "Hey, you guys are considered a high risk now, and you would have to stay and more to come." And then I had to call back on the 5th day trying to figure out what's going on because nobody told me anything. And then now they're saying, "Hey, you got to do the full 14 days because you're high risk, but still no testing." I requested a test on the 7th day, which is their option, like I said, and still have been denied that option too.
Yeah, Rob, unfortunately, we keep hearing these quarantine horror stories where people understand that this is something that we need to do as a community to keep ourselves safe. So you're sitting here saying, yeah, I understand what this is all about. Give me the test. And we just heard from Christine Leon Guerrero, who's also in quarantine with a little baby. She was set to go, and then all of a sudden it's
5
like, no,
minutes.
you got, I mean, the protocols, it just cannot be that the only people following the protocols are the people who are in the quarantine.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the quarantine facility you know, there's a lot of injustice that's happening in here, and it's like public health just doesn't really care for the people in here. They locked us up here, then and we're good to go because, you know, they feed us food and give us water every day, but that's about it. We can't leave the room. We've been isolated in here for 8 days now, with, you know, nothing, and it's absurd. You know, when you try to reach out and get information about your case from public health, and they just themselves don't want to help.
Rob, say I'm the director of public health. What would you say to him right now?
If I can reach out to the director of public health, you know, I'd tell him right now that you need to get into the quarantine facilities and look at everybody on a case-by-case basis and actually do your job at testing everybody. Don't just make a blanket case of, oh, you guys are potential high risk, we'll leave you in there for 14 days. You know, you need to see it on a case-by-case basis. Everybody is different. You can't just assume that people are positive because they were in close proximity to somebody.
I got it, Rob. How hopeful are you? I mean, I've been keeping track of you on Facebook. I know it's just so hard, and optimism, I don't even think that's the right word to bring into this conversation, but they're going to put your little brother to rest on Saturday. It's Thursday.
Yeah.
And you flew all this way to say your final goodbye. Yeah. Tell us about
your little brother.
Yeah.
So my little brother, I mean, you guys have probably seen in the papers, he was a great fisherman. You know, I taught him everything that he needed to know. When it came to spearfishing, he loved the water. And unfortunately, he passed away doing what he loved. You know, it was an unfortunate tragedy that happened while he was spearfishing, but you know, he was a good young man who was real passionate about spearfishing. And I'm glad that he passed doing what he loved. And it's unfortunate because, you know, we were so close, and it's unfortunate that I flew all this way, and I'm not going to be able to lay him to rest in person because they want me to do a Zoom call.
I can't make sense of this because we're granting exemptions for people to go to funerals. You're right. It just really seems inconsistent. And I mean, I know public health listens, and I just don't get why it always looks like there's one set of rules if you're, you know, in or you're
for
connected. Right. And people can just freaking waltz right from the airport just because they've got some kind of exemption.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah. I get that, you know, I get that the plane and there was exposure and they need to quarantine you guys, but again, they give you the option to get tested out. Have you tried to or talk to public health about getting maybe a private doctor to come to the facility and test you?
I have not spoken to public health in regards to getting a private doctor to come to the facility, but you know, we were being told that, you know, they're testing everybody, basically trying to test everybody, if you will, every day. Right. But no one has come up to our room because we were labeled, you know, a potential high risk. But, you know, we had neighbors here who were also on the same flight as us, but they were labeled as a low risk, which makes no sense, and released out of quarantine without even testing to go home. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like they're under the assumption that we're a positive COVID carrier now, but they don't even want to test us. They just want to hold us here until the 14 days and not administer a test within the 7 days, which is what their protocols clearly stated.
Did they tell you like how close you were to this positive case? Or you said
no,
3. So you don't
they
even
just
know.
keep telling us that we were in close proximity, but they don't give us. They never gave us any information of where he was sitting or anything like that.
Right. And so these other passengers, I mean, even if let's assume that they weren't within the 3 rows back, 3 rows forward, I mean, they could have easily walked by the positive case on the way to the bathroom, or, you know, pass them a pillow, or.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I pleaded my case when it came to that because we were all in an aircraft together. You could have walked past them, as you said. We've all stood in line to get our baggage at the airport, still not knowing who this person is. We all stood in line to process through customs, still, again, not knowing. And then they bust us all to the quarantine facilities.
Well, this is just terrible, Rob. I don't even know what to say other than this just really pisses me off.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just unreal.
It's the injustice that's happening in the quarantine facilities. It's ridiculous. It is beyond ridiculous right now.
Well,
Rob,
hopefully the director is listening.
Well, I just texted him. He's going into a Zoom meeting, so I thought he was going to jump on this Zoom. I should have sent him the link. Yeah, but we're going to definitely get the director involved. Man, the problem is public health is like backed up. I mean, we're hearing hundreds of tests that they swab from people over the weekend. So if they get you tested, I'm just worried. Let's say that they see this. That okay, he's filled out. He's done everything he has to do. Let's go give this guy a test. I'm just worried that it's going to get lost with those 5 million other tests that we haven't run yet.
Yeah, but public health, I think they do have the capacity to do rapid testing.
Test, especially since they're saying you came into close contact
GMH
with a positive case, right? And I believe that's the protocol. When you come into close contact with a positive case, you get the rapid test, which is like 15
as per
minutes.
The CDC website, when I did my research, the CDC website clearly states that if you were in close contact to a confirmed positive case, that you should have been tested immediately.
Right.
But as I said, I'm on day 8 in the quarantine, and we have not been tested. We have been denied the option to test on our 7th day and finish off home quarantine. And we've been here since August 12th, and the most we've ever seen our family is, about over 200 feet away when they're waving at us at in a parking lot.
You're thinking about your mom, Rob, and how much she needs you right now?
All day, every day. I call her every day trying to see if she needs help with anything. I'm trying to coordinate what I can for the funeral while being in here. So everything that I'm trying to do to help my mom is being conducted through a phone.
Are you the only sibling?
I'm the only boy now. Yes.
So you're the oldest son, and we all know in our culture the oldest son is. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility on you.
Yes. And that that's one of the main reasons why I flew back to Guam as early as I did, so that I can help my mom to prepare to lay our brother to rest.
Well, Rob, I mean, we're putting this out there. People are hearing it. I know the government of Guam is listening. Let's get this guy tested, and not just him. There are other people. I hear the stories all the time. Other people, maybe they don't know somebody and they're just, it's like a jail sentence. And we understand that, the intent of the quarantine is to keep us all safe. But don't put these protocols and guidelines in that are meant to, allow people to go to funerals, allow people to, recover from surgeries. And we put in and then you basically turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to this guy who's here to bury his kid brother.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the military? Because that's what people are saying, that you're in the military.
Yes, I'm active duty military, serving in New Mexico right now.
Mm-hmm. You're not able to get tested, I guess, at Naval Hospital.
So
well, you can't even get tested. You can't even leave.
Yeah.
Well, I've reached out to the military to see if we can at least be transferred to them into their custody, so that we can quarantine with them and potentially get tested from, Naval Hospital. Right. They've done everything that they possibly could. However, public health has not gotten back to give them the green light to come and get us.
Well, we're getting the Admiral on in 20 minutes, so
yeah,
we're going to take this to the Admiral. I mean, are you I don't even know if he's Navy.
In Navy, Air Force.
I'm in the Air Force.
Okay, right on. Rob, I mean, in closing, I think you've said it all. But is there anything else that you want to put out here? for your family, your friends. They're all watching right now.
Yeah, the only thing I want to, I would like to end with is, please, I hope that public health hears this message and they actually start, reaching out to those that are in here, because, I'm not speaking on just for myself, but on behalf of everybody else that's in quarantine or possibly going through the same treatment as I am. The injustice that's going on to them, needs to be corrected from public health, because as we are being told, public health is the know-all, say-all on releasing us from these facilities. Right. So that's what I would like to end with. I want to thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to speak out and get my voice heard for everyone that's in here in this quarantine facility.
Right, Robin. That's why we wanted to get you on, because you got a great voice, and we just want more people need to hear. And every time we get one of these horror stories, we throw them on, and I don't understand why we keep getting these stories to put on. And this is just our condolences, Rob, to you and your family.
Thank you.
And keep us posted, okay? You got my number. We'll get a hold of the director and give him a hard time.
Will do. I appreciate everything that you guys are doing for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob. God bless you and the family, and God bless your mom, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Right on. If you have a quarantine horror story, don't hesitate to direct message us, put it in the comments. I mean, I get messages all the time. I mean, I just had one where a priest, this is a priest, not a priest in the same hotel as Rob, sent a video of right when he checked in, bed sheets, little blood stains, hairs. And these hotels are making money. But, Lynette, are they sanitizing the room in between quarantines? Or because it doesn't seem like it at all. And this is just...
Yeah, Christine, she won't even let her baby on the floor because the floor is just disgusting.
Yeah, 8:41. We're going to take a short break again. The link probably brought